Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Tuesday, January the 8th. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm a founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's another off day for the Vancouver Canucks. They practiced yesterday out at UBC. They will practice tomorrow in advance of their Thursday game against the Arizona Coyotes. But right now, Tuesday, they didn't practice. They have a day off, and they can continue to prepare for the 6-game homestand that they open up on Thursday. So not a lot to talk about with respect to line combinations or Elias Pettersson injury updates, whatever it may be. So today I want to talk about this. A very simple question. Who is the best Canucks defenseman of all time? And I bring this up today because of two reasons. Number one, there's been a lot of talk about Alex Edler and whether or not they're going to ask him, firstly, to waive his no-trade clause. Then whether or not he will actually waive his no-trade clause. Will he get traded to a contender for a prospect and or a draft pick? Will he then re-sign here in the summer? Will the Canucks even want to re-sign him? So many questions about Edler. I know we're going to be talking about it all the way up until the February 25th trade deadline, so we have a lot of time, a good 7 weeks to talk about that. But that's been in the news, especially as the Canucks aren't playing right now. A lot of time to talk about Edler because he's having such a good season right now. So what's the future of Alex Edler? That was the first reason why I started thinking about defensemen today. And the second one was for my 2-on-1 video, that series that I do every night, first thing in the morning, called 2-on-1, where I spend 2 minutes on one topic. Last night I talked about Erik Karlsson and the fact that he had 3 assists last night in the Oilers win. In the Sharks win. No, I'm talking about he doesn't play for the Oilers. In the Sharks win, he has 12 points in his last 5 games. He has a 13-game point streak going. He's now shot up to 5th overall in defenseman scoring. I don't think he's going to win the Norris Trophy, but there's other guys that have played more consistently all season, like the Giordano's and the Rileys of the world. But who knows? There's still a lot of time. But regardless, between Erik Karlsson's strong performance and the video I did about him earlier today, and Alex Edler's name and his contract being in the news and in the media recently, I got thinking about Canucks defensemen. And in essence, I put it on Twitter about a couple hours ago. Who do you think is the Canucks defenseman, the best defenseman in league, in club history, I should say? And I gave 4 options, and acknowledging that there are write-in votes like Bieksa and Lidster and Sneps and Kearns and all these guys. But the 4 that I put on there were in alphabetical order by last name. I put Alex Edler at the top. Then I went Ed Jovanovski, Jyrki Lumme, and then Mattias Ohlund. So again, the 4 options that I gave were Edler, Jovanovski, Lumme, and Ohlund. And I kind of had a feeling which way this was going to go, but I was still very interested to see. So I put it out there just 2 hours ago. It's going to be up there for 24 hours, but I'm doing this vlog now. So in 2 hours, got just under 300 votes. And Mattias Ohlund, not surprisingly, has exactly half the votes. He's at 50%. Then Alex Edler is at 30%. Jovanovski is at 12%. And Jyrki Lumme is at 8%. And those are the 4 guys that I think, are the best defensemen in club history. Reinhart was good, but he didn't do a lot with the Canucks there with the Flames and with other teams. So, and Jeff Brown, same thing, some here, some in St. Louis. So I went with these 4 guys who spent the majority of their careers with the Canucks. So I wasn't surprised that Mattias Ohlund was the front runner at 50%. I was actually surprised that Alex Edler did so high. I thought he'd come in second, but I thought it'd be a little closer between him and Lumme and Jovanovski. But Edler's getting 3 out of every 10 at 30%, and then Jovanovski and Lumme with 12% and 8% respectively. So Mattias Ohlund, we know how good he was. We know how he was a good, strong skater, not afraid to play the body. We know that he came up. He was playing here when the Scenes were here. We know that he went over to Tampa Bay and he mentored Victor Hedman, a recent Norris Trophy winner, which I'll get to in a second. So we know of Ohlund, and we remember him, especially before his unfortunate eye injury. We remember just how good he was, and he was that nice balance of everything. He was fast. He had a good shot, a good offensive awareness, obviously a good defenseman. He was big and he could hit, and he was very smart. He could think the game very well. And so no surprise that Mattias Ohlund is the number 1 at 50%. And Alex Edler, I guess it speaks to how valuable Canucks fans feel that Edler is. It doesn't mean that we don't necessarily want to. It doesn't mean that we don't want to trade him for a draft pick. It doesn't mean that we don't want to see him come back in the summer. But yeah, that's going to be a fascinating story to watch. But Alex Edler getting 30% of the vote. And I would agree with that too. Like, he's one of the second, top 2 or top 3 defensemen. But I would agree with all you guys so far that Mattias Ohlund is by far the best defenseman in Canucks history. So we've never had a Norris Trophy winner. And Ohlund came the closest, but it wasn't as a Norris Trophy, actually. So I probably not the most accurate thing to say, but I don't know if you guys remember this. Mattias Ohlund actually came second in Calder Trophy voting one year. He lost to Sergei Samsonov of the Boston Bruins way back, I think it was early 90s, whenever Ohlund came into the league. But yeah, Mattias Ohlund came second in a major award, category, but it wasn't the Norris. It was actually the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year, finishing as the runner-up to Sergei Samsonov. So you look at the Norris Trophy winners, and we know that in the 80s and 90s, it was the era of the Ray Borks and the Paul Coffeys, and Brian Leach was in there, Chris Chelios. And then 90s, 2000s, it became the era of Nicholas Lidstrom, and Scott Niedermayer won a couple in there, but it was basically Lidstrom dominating the Norris Trophy. Then since 2010 onwards, it's been like a lot of guys, no repeats. Doughty's been in there, Hedman very recently, Brent Burns is in there, Erik Karlsson's been in there. So there's been a lot of change, a lot of turnover in the Norris Trophy conversation, but never has there been a Vancouver Canuck even remotely close to being nominated or being named, obviously, as winner. And the Canucks have racked up not an impressive number, but certainly a lot of trophies in their history. Everything, almost all the other major ones. There's been Art Ross Trophy winners, Hart Trophy winners, Lady Byng. That was there's been Selke winners, i.e. Kessler. We've won Coach of the Year. We won the Jennings for best combined goals against or save percentage. I think it's best combined goals against, and that was Luongo and Schneider. So we've had goaltenders win awards. We've had coaches win awards. Mike Gillis even won a GM of the Year once. So we've had management win awards, and of course we've had forwards, i.e. the Sedins, win awards. Ryan Kessler. So the only position that we haven't really had a major award winner is at D. So will that change? I guess it's all leading towards excitement around Quinn Hughes that I've talked about already in the past week a couple times. But yeah, that's down the road. And we can get excited. We saw Quinn playing during the World Juniors, and it got us even more excited. But who knows? Like I said, I think it's going to be at the end of this season. Some people think they'll wait till next season. Doesn't matter that we got a couple months to figure that out. We have a couple months to figure out what's going to happen to Alex Edler. So just want to leave that with you today, Canucks fans. A discussion on the best Canucks defenseman in club history. Leave a comment below. I love to read, react, and reply as always. Do you agree with the majority of the voters so far? Is it Mattias Ohlund for you? Is it Alex Edler? Is it Jovanovski? Is it Lume? Is it someone like Lucas Spiza? I'm just kidding. A couple people mentioned that on Twitter. There might be some other guys that you might want to put in there, but put them in. Leave a comment below. I love to read, react, and reply as always. And you can talk about what your prediction is for Alex Edler, whether or not we are going to trade him, re-sign him, extend him, lose him for nothing, whatever it may be. I love to read what you have to say. I love to react to it as always. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the day off, so to speak. Canucks back at practice tomorrow before they host the Arizona Coyotes on Thursday night at Rogers Arena. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.